Welcome to UTalk. I'm Paige Turner, school counselor at Noble Middle School. Our show is all about the middle school student, testing, bullying, dating, stress, and so much more. We discuss it all. Joining me each month is a dynamic and engaging panel of middle school students ready to discuss the issues and tackle the tough questions. We kick off our show with some Q&A, featuring questions on a variety of topics from middle schools throughout the school system that our panel of students are ready to answer. No question is too tough, no topic is too difficult. All right, panelists, let's start with the first question. My teacher has some problems with me. She only scolds me, even if everyone else in class is talking. I'm fed up. I cry every day because of this. She also changed my seat away from my friends. What should I do?
To start with, I would find out what you're doing wrong, or what she might think you're doing wrong, and put a stop to it or try and improve it so that she doesn't hate you as much. But this kind of seems like an odd situation. So I do agree with being confused.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would definitely talk to the teacher or talk to a counselor and stuff, but it's kind of like an irreversible thing because it's all about your first impression on your teacher. However whatever your first impression is, how they're going to judge you for the rest of the year. So it's important to act.
And it's probably vice versa. You know,
Yeah.
the student's impression of the teacher, feeling like they're always get on
Exactly.
me, and then the teacher's impression of the student, they're never listening, they're always talking.
Exactly.
So it's not only the teacher. Like she sees you in a way that she might not like, so she scolds you and does that to you to try and get you to stop. And then if you wouldn't that be empathy? Like trying to see you from her perspective,
putting yourself in somebody else's
and
shoes. Yeah.
just seeing like what she sees from a daily basis.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so you could totally just ask her and be like, you're making me kind of feel this way, and I just want to know what I'm doing wrong and how I can fix it, basically.
You could bring your teacher cookies because you can't say no to food.
Yes.
And if they're still doing that, then you should talk to them because that's tough love.
Yes. Well, you know, I think that it really, communication is key, like you guys have all mentioned, because there could be a breakdown in communication. You know, perhaps the student's doing something that they don't realize is, irritating or annoying the teacher. But what I'm hearing though is that the student feels like they're doing the same thing that everyone else is doing, but they're the one that are always called out. Have you guys ever felt that way before?
Yeah.
Like
Like
you're the
last
one who's
week.
singled out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like that happens because a teacher, like, she sees you with a certain group or just like as the ringleader, so she targets you because, like, most of the time, if you take out the general of an army, the army stops because like they don't know what to do. So targeting the ringleader might bring an end to whatever's going on, and that might help the teacher a lot. So that might be why, or she might just have a grudge against you because like she had your older sibling and your older sibling was absolutely horrible.
That I can't say that never happens, but it could. But you have a good point that perhaps you're singled out because you're viewed as a leader or somebody who has a lot of influence on other students. And unfortunately, sometimes students are used to set an example. But, I always say, well, if you're doing something just because, somebody else doesn't get caught, but you're doing it too, you can't really argue because you don't need to be doing it either.
Yeah, and the teacher might not even realize that she's just pointing you out and not other students.
Right.
Yeah, because she might not even notice just making an example of whoever she sees.
Yeah,
I mean, because
first
like
thing.
she might think that like I'm telling the whole class multiple times when it's being told to the same person, so no one else is really getting the message.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes you maybe feel like that they're targeting you and that they're always talking to you because, you're not seeing them talk to the other students, or maybe you're not paying attention to that.
Last week, I got sent to the classroom, and it was like a misunderstanding because everyone was talking, but then she caught me talking, so like I got in trouble, but I was just asking someone if they're okay, but she didn't think that, so.
Right. And there are going to be situations that come up that are not fair, I mean, teachers are not perfect and they make mistakes sometimes. But you do need to make sure that you communicate, especially if it's something that happens over and over again. Because
Try apologizing and start,
and bring them cookies.
If a teacher doesn't like you more because you bring her cookies, then well, there's probably a lot more than just like one or two small things.
Yeah.
There's a problem.
Cookies make everything better.
Yeah, I think at the beginning of the year, every teacher is looking through their class to see, all right, who's like the really smart person that's really focused on school? Who's the troublemaker? Who's the one that doesn't really care about school? Like they're looking to sort everyone out. And if you're put in that troublemaker category, they're going to keep their eye on you for the rest of the year. But also, honestly, it also depends on how well you're doing in the classroom. If you're getting good grades and acting like a good student in the classroom, that's also going to shift their opinion
Right.
on how you are overall.
Right. Whether or not you're so distracted that you're
Yeah.
not doing well, or you're so distracting to other people that it's, impacting their entire class.
Yeah, like if they see you causing a bunch of problems in the classroom and then seeing you getting a bunch of bad grades, that's just going to add on to them keeping an eye on you.
Right.
But if you get good grades, it might shift their opinion a little bit.
Right, exactly. Well, I think the advice for this person is to, communicate with someone, whether it be the teacher or maybe, I think you mentioned, Dave, a counselor, if you don't feel like you can go talk to the teacher. But it's better to go ahead and get it out in the open and talked about instead of having to deal with it for the rest of the school year.
Yeah.
Because that's probably not in anyone's best interest, for sure. So, well, we had a really lengthy conversation about this one question, so we actually don't have time for another question, but we will definitely do some at the next show.
It seems the short ones always have the longest because like there's the most gaps to fill.
Yes.
So you always want to get the most out of it.
Absolutely. All right, now coming up in our next segment, Mrs. DeMolina is joined by our panel, and they discuss the use of technology in students' lives. Don't go away. We have much more U-Talk ahead.
Get connected with your school system. Your School News covers news that matters for parents, guardians, and Greater New Hanover County. Stories about preparing students for success in a changing world. Stories where students are achievers.
Internship I had we pretty much made a vehicle from spare parts, and at first we made it so it just moved, and then we made it so it was an electrical vehicle.
Stories of teaching where every child yearns to learn.
Today is all about STEAM. STEAM is kind of the key word to tying art into science, technology, engineering, and math.
Your School News brings viewers more than 8 hours of school news and information, reporting on what's happening in the district, what students are learning, how the school system operates, and beyond. Your School News, only on this channel.
Oh, hi. Welcome back to U-Talk. I'm Megan DeMolina, school counselor at Noble Middle School. Technology is everywhere these days. TVs, cell phones, iPads, gaming systems, and the list goes on. There is so much in all of our lives. How much is too much? And what are the effects of all this technology? We will tackle this tough questions and this topic right now. Okay, put down your phones, please, personal devices. Wow, we are inundated by technology today, aren't we? Mm-hmm. What do you all do as far as like managing time on technology and your devices and time off? And when is it appropriate to have it out? When is it appropriate to tuck it away?
My we're kind of strict about it. So they set time. It's like, don't play games during the weekend. Like, when you don't have school, you can play like afternoons, Friday afternoons through the weekend, and just like if we have an off day on like a Thursday, then we can play that Wednesday afternoon because we don't have school. But if we have a school day, then like no technology except for homework, and like they just, I like that idea because it encourages us to not just play mindless video games for 7 hours a day, and it says like, hey, be social. Read a book, do something productive.
Right.
Don't waste your life staring at a video screen.
That's a very nice plan and very balanced as far as like just kind of recognizing this is not going away. Unfortunately, this is part of our world today, and using our devices is, you even mentioned doing homework on them. I know a lot of our students at Noble do, I think the Quizlets and Menbeam and all
like
of that.
Computers are helpful for homework, but again, bring in that technology.
Sure, there is a
Yeah.
time and a place to just turn it off and disconnect, right?
Yeah, they're creating a lot of new things like technology homes with like trying to tell you what time you have to take your medicine and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's
like
true.
The, like
Yeah,
the
it's
clap-on lights, like just
Yeah.
they're innovating technology.
Alexa.
And yes, the
Kinda
Alexa. I feel it's making us better as humans and worse as humans because weren't people outside a lot more before the whole technological era?
I would
Yeah.
agree with that statement. I think that we see a little bit more shift in just outdoor activity. Maybe I've even seen some commercials lately
Yeah.
that promote like putting technology away and getting outside to explore
It
and
definitely
go outdoors.
Yeah, it definitely changes how you spend your time, like you spend your free time. Because when you really think about it, like it does help with schoolwork and it does help with other necessities and stuff. But when you if you use it for social media, like you can communicate. But if it's for games and other like video games, I know Xbox and stuff, you don't really get anything out of that. Like whereas if you're outside, maybe practicing a sport or swimming or going to the beach or something, you're kind of getting better at whatever you're doing,
Sure.
rather than just playing video games.
So it sounds like you're suggesting some things are maybe mindless and there are also mindful things that we can be connected to on our devices. And I also heard you say earlier, Ben, about the things that are maybe affecting us in a negative way and things are affecting us in a positive way. So let's talk about that. What's affecting overusage of technology and
Yeah.
devices? What's affecting us
Well,
negatively?
There's
Let's talk
some
about that.
videos that show like how people without technology are like struggling in school, but that's not negative. But sometimes you get behind in schoolwork because you feel like, oh, I need to go like on Instagram and Snapchat,
Right.
and then YouTube, and all gets distracting.
Sure, there's really that feeling of missing out, and I think that a lot of us refer to that as FOMO, fear of missing out, right? Because we don't want to miss a thing socially, not only with our peers together in class or in school or activities, but on social media, because things are being posted and shared. So maybe that's like a negative effect because then there's that need or that want to always check and be checking and on your phones.
I feel like there's a much bigger. There's also a much bigger negativity. Like as we use our phones and like more electronics and stuff, it's causing us to need more power, which is causing more fossil fuels to burn. I'm pretty sure, and then like that's affecting the world negatively. And a lot of people are trying to go green and like do all this kind of stuff, but from what's been happening, a lot of it, like you see more and more and more people getting phones, and it's just like it's using a lot of power, and it's using resources we don't have, and it's causing problems not only in like a human level and on like a mental or social level, but also on like a global level, and it's not good.
Impacting our environment in a negative way, not really even thinking about that, short-term wise, but then long-term effects of the usage and overusage of technology.
Yeah, I think social media, I think its main viewers and users are teens. And teens using social media, they're still having hormones released. They're going through a lot of depression and anxiety. And social media is kind of like fueling that almost, because everyone's worried about how many likes they have on a picture or who's following them. And it's like, oh, I have more followers than you. And it's like a key point to depression and anxiety, and it kind of helps. It kind of increases that in several teens.
My parents aren't big on social media, but I was getting Instagram, and Instagram, I was like, oh, I got 30 followers because I got that day. And I was like, if that's one way to lose it, being worried about how many followers you have. But she also likes how you can FaceTime and call people, but she doesn't like texting as much because you're not like talking to them. She likes calling and FaceTiming.
Yeah, and
Sure,
that's
having
also-
conversations with people than
Getting
through
text.
numbers and digits that we
That's
send
happened.
through
That's
text.
happened a few times. It's just like my parents are like, like their phones are good for you, but like kids are losing attention spans. Like they're not as much into like face-to-face or just even voice-to-voice conversations. It's all about, oh, how fast can I type a text or whatever, and it's like it doesn't bring up it. Well, it messes with like your social activity and like being social, and it can cause people to be like kind of inside and shy. And I mean, it's not bad to be shy, but it's also to a certain extent where it's being caused by too much of phone. That's a bad thing. So I would recommend setting yourself like a time limit. Like if you play a lot, like if you play 3 to 4 hours a day, cut it down. Like every week, go like 15 minutes shorter a day, 15 minutes shorter a day, until you're seeing that like you're only playing for like 15 minutes or not even any, and it should help you a lot with, because just trying to cut off, you see that a lot when like people are trying to cut off from something, it stops. Like there's a lot of problems with it. Sure. But if you tone it down little by little by little, it'll make it a lot easier to get off the technology and get outside.
That sounds like a great plan to manage. Yeah.
There's like a screen time on settings, and mine's kind of bad, but yeah.
Kind of what
like
Ben is
3
suggesting,
hours.
like kind of taking off some of that time.
That would also be a good thing. Like if parents, you can
managing
something. Parents, you can control your kids. Just there are settings on phones that like you can set screen time hours. You can set like I actually don't even know, but it's just. There's a lot of things you can do to regulate it to stop your kids from either just being on stuff you don't want or being on times you don't want.
Right.
Yeah.
So just like everything else in life, moderation, right?
Moderation is the key.
Were there any positives
I think
we end our
can.
segment here?
Yeah.
What are the positives to having technology and
You can
devices?
meet people I haven't talked to in a while, because I got back up with a friend that I didn't know from like a couple years ago, because she saw it was my birthday on my mom's Facebook, and now we're friends again. And
the
you
connections that you
yeah,
made.
and also you might be in the car and you could do some MIMBY and get some work done, be productive.
Yeah, like we can go back to the homework. You can, if you have like an online assignment from a teacher and like you're away from, like you've been away from school, or like you can't find a way to get to a computer or something to actually like to type it in, you can use your phones, and you can like, it makes it so that like homework, well, not easier, but it gives you more opportunities to do things. Like Shelby said, connecting with friends, meeting new people, and like with Facebook and social media, you can see like if certain I'm trying to think, like charities or groups that are like trying to protect something, you can see like how to help them, how it all works, and like what you can do to fix problems that we humans are causing.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. Thank you, panelists. Now don't go away. When we return, we will take a look at what keeps middle school students busy when they have free time. We'll be right back.
Start your day with New Hanover County Schools, The Morning Show. This Rise and Shine program will put a smile on your face and a spring in your step. Best of all, you'll start the day a little smarter. The Morning Show features an exciting 6-hour mix of exclusive features, cooking, entertainment, news, science, math, and more. New Hanover County Schools, The Morning Show, educating all viewers to achieve today and tomorrow in a global community. Only on this channel.
Welcome back to U-Talk. In this segment, we take a look at what middle school students like to do during their free time. There is a wide range of entertainment options these days, both for when you're alone and when you're with a group. Today, our panel will tell us how they like to spend their free time. Welcome back, guys. So I know in your last segment with Ms. Demolina, you guys spoke a lot about technology. So we're going to talk about your free time. Some of that probably is using technology, but I want to expand that too and just talk about lots of different things that you guys, middle schoolers, do these days for fun.
A big thing that I do, I'm a book nerd, so and I do this thing called Battle of the Books, where like you're given a set list of books to read, and then you read them, and then you have to answer questions about the details in the books and stuff, and it's really fun. So I always have the lists, and I'm just trying to read through the list. So reading books is a big thing for me. Most of the time when I finish, I'll just grab one of the books that I'm reading and just be there for 1 to 2 hours and read as much as I can.
So you do that during your free time, like alone free time?
Yeah, most of the time.
What about you guys?
I usually like go on bike rides. I do stuff outside, hang out with friends, stuff like that.
I'm a dancer, so whenever I don't dance, I'll probably go to friends or go to the beach, the pool somewhere.
Hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I spend time with friends. I'll have like sleepovers or maybe go to the movies or something.
Yeah.
But
Mayfair.
yeah, I'm outside a lot of the time that I have free time, playing basketball, rollerblading, trampoline, lacrosse, whatever I can really do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what are the places, like the end places for middle schoolers to kind of go to?
Definitely the movie theater. I think that's
Movie-
like
yeah,
Mayfair.
movies are definitely a big
Mayfair,
thing.
Rexel Beach.
Probably like some of the
and
trampoline
fly.
parks, like Defy Gravity, Flip and Fly.
Yep.
Okay.
You see a lot of the beach, and most of the time it's just outside in your yard. Like if you have a really nice yard or like a very wide one, you can play a lot of games with friends. Like my neighbor across the street, he has like a really big yard, and we play like Nerf wars sometimes. Like we throw a football, play baseball sometimes. It's really good to have a big yard.
Yes. Well, and it helps that we're in North Carolina where
Yeah.
the climate kind of assists us being outside a lot. And we've had a really mild winter thus far, so it has helped us be able to get outside and do some of these other activities.
Yeah, I feel like it's only been cold for like the last 2 months because we had the hurricane. And it just like shocked us back to fall,
It
and
did.
it brought the temperatures up a lot, and I really enjoyed it because it meant more outside time.
Yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
like it differs from ages though. Maybe if you might want to go to the beach or some. The sixth graders, a lot of us, they go to Flip and Fly a lot. Then we'll go walk around Mayfair.
Yeah.
Maybe like go to the movies. Go to Brits.
And that's what a lot of
the big thing.
Yeah, a lot, and that's kind of a lot of group activities. You guys
Yeah.
kind of meet
Yeah.
up and do
You
that
go,
as a
yeah, you
group.
go with like 2-3 friends, and
Yeah.
it's
You meet
in
another
time.
group.
Yeah. Now, one thing I hear, because we just had that, you had the discussion about technology, is Fortnite. And
Yes.
I know that is
Yes.
huge for a lot of middle schoolers. Some could care less. You know.
Yeah.
But would you say that's a lot of what some students do in their free time
That
is play
is-
games?
Yeah.
I do feel
Yes.
that there are a lot of other games that people play, and there's always like talk about, hey, can you get on and play with me? Just stuff like that. And I mean, it's good that you're connecting with friends, but I feel like sometimes it's too much. Like, connect with friends face to face,
person.
play outside, do something that's not related to a screen.
Yeah, a lot of people go on Fortnite for a few hours at the least.
Hours, and I'm finding that sometimes it's impacting students' sleep schedules because they
Yeah.
They're
Because
playing
they
that
stay up,
instead.
Right,
they stay
they
up
stay
for
up.
like 10 or 11. They stay up till like 10 or 11,
Yeah.
just playing Fortnite with their friends. And then when they finally go to bed, they have to wake up early to like catch the bus or get to
Yeah.
school on time.
My
and
mom-
it's messing with sleep and stuff.
Yeah,
Good
absolutely.
Well, she made a rule that I don't really do it anymore, but how 30 minutes before bed, no blue light, because it affects your sleep too, and it makes you fall asleep 30 minutes later. And some people will wake up at like 4 a.m. to see like the new seasons on Fortnite or new battle passes.
Yeah, that did the season 8 release was pretty new, so I knew, like, my brother said that he had a few friends that like woke up at 4 to try and get on and see it, and like, I get that you like the game, like I understand playing in the afternoons or something,
I like sleep.
but waking up at 4 a.m. to look at a video game is kind of stupid.
The video game should come out at like a certain time, like
The video
6
game-
o'clock.
like a
when-
reasonable time
when
where
students
people
are
are awake, so it's
awake,
not
yeah.
impacting.
It's
so.
not. I mean, don't try and balance it. Don't be that one person that spends 12 hours a day playing.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like it's a good way just to like relax and chill out. Because like if I just had a basketball game or something, or just I was outside for a while and I'm tired, I can just like sit on the couch and relax a little
Yes.
bit.
And I
just
think
play.
I think it's all about balance. The show really kind of has been about balance. Too much of a good thing is not good.
Yeah.
So I think you can play games and you can be on your technology and going to the movies and Flip and Fly and Mayfair. But if you did that all the time, then that could be very expensive, and it
Not
can take
good for your
away.
health.
Yeah, it could
in
take
the
away from
long
other
run.
things. What were you going to say, James?
Well, I personally I don't really play Fortnite. I'll play some other video games though that are like multiplayer,
Yeah.
so I can play with my friends and like we kind of like share the game and stuff. But also, if you really think about it, video games really mess with your emotions and like she said, sleep and stuff. Like people stay up really, really late so they can keep playing, and then they go to bed right after, and that's going to affect how they sleep. And if you look at all successful people, those millionaires and billionaires, their time management is really, really good, and they will go to sleep at like 7 and wake up at like 5, and they'll have their whole day planned ahead.
They're very regimented.
They have
and
to- they have to
staying
sleep set,
up
like-
till 11 playing video games.
Yes.
That's what my parents try and do. It's like set bedtime, set wake up, just get into the routine so that you can fall asleep like almost instantly and wake up at the right time. And sometimes, like even if I forget to turn on my alarm in the morning and I go to bed at the same time, I'll still wake up at the right time because my body is that used to being up.
It's putting your body on a
So
schedule.
my brain is like, okay, it's now 6:50. Well, it's now about this time up.
Yep, wake up. You're
Yeah.
gonna say something, Ava?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, a lot of people like me, like, I always awake at 7 a.m. So whatever time I go to bed, I'm gonna wake up at 7, and I don't really fall back asleep. So I kind of have to go to bed early. So
My friend, she goes to bed at like 7 or 8 because, I mean, she's done with her homework, and like I feel like, oh, Shelby can't go to bed until 9 o'clock or 10. So I make myself like I have stuff to do. But she goes to bed right when she can and wakes up at like 5:45 so she can go outside and go on like a bike ride and make her lunch, have breakfast.
Right, so not rushing into your morning, you can kind of take your time because you've had a really good
I'm
night's
rushed in the
sleep.
morning.
Yeah, and I think it's easy for that to happen and for us to do.
I
But
give myself a good 30 minutes before I have to start the walk to the bus stop, just so like I can do all my stuff, like, and not have to be like, okay, eat breakfast really quickly, like spoon five things of cereal into my mouth at once. So I can take my time and I can eat, and sometimes I can read a little bit.
have
And
some downtime before
you have
school
that,
because
you have that little bit of time so that
absolutely.
you don't have to just like go from one thing directly to the other. You can just kind of mosey along.
yeah.
Well, guys, our time is up. That wraps up our program this month. I'm Paige Turner. On behalf of my co-host, Megan DeMolina, and the entire UTalk panel, thanks for watching. We hope you'll submit questions to our show and tune in again next month for an all-new episode of UTalk.